small business because cash is not usually the thing that you're throwing around, but there are actually plenty of things that you can do to get the right people on the team and then keep them there. So we've got 6 categories: health, time off, insurance, retirement, training, and then bonuses. Let me just see if I can move this. I will move this up to the top here. Okay. So health, it is the number one requested benefit. I do a lot of hiring for organizations, and the minute the benefits question come up, the first one is, what kind of health plan do you offer? So some funding, any kind of funding towards health insurance helps. It does not have to be a regular plan. The first one that I want to talk about is QSARA. This is a qualified small employer health reimbursement account. And I love this as a tool for you guys to use when you are thinking about your benefits plan. Essentially, you work with a third-party administrator. You pay an annual platform fee for them to manage all of that, and then a fee, per employees. You decide on an amount that you're going to allocate for each employee. That could be something as little as $1,500 or $2,000 per person a year, up to a maximum of $5,250. Now that amount may change in 2021, but it's a federally mandated limit. So employees then submit their reimbursement requests to that third-party administrator. They will tell you how much needs to be reimbursed to the employee through payroll. And one of the things you can think about with this is that even though you make this available, if the employees don't use it all, it's actually not cash out of your pocket. So it's up to the employees to use this benefit. So it's basically you're allocating a fund of any amount, but it just has to be across the board for everybody. So that's one of its advantages. You can start small and you can build up in the amount that you want to put into the fund. It can be used for your own healthcare premiums. It can be used for the employee healthcare premiums. It works well, particularly if a spouse or significant partner, other partner, whatever. It can be used for, if they have insurance, it can be used towards those premiums. It works like any health reimbursement account, so it can be used for a range of out-of-pocket costs. And it is tax deductible to you as a business owner, and it is a tax-free benefit to your employees. So if the health plan that you've dug into or looked at is too expensive, this is an incredibly flexible way to go. Do you think I love it, or do you think I love it? So option 2 is a health share plan. Now these are not health plans. What these are, it's a group of individuals who come together to agree that they're all going to put money into a pot, and then that money will be used to pay for health-related expenses. So it's pretty flexible in terms of how it works because it's not constrained by the rules related to health plans. You can decide whether you're going to split the cost with employees or whether you're going to pay it all. One thing I like about this is that the pricing changes with age brackets, and so it makes it pretty flexible, particularly if you have a lot of younger people on your team. The out-of-pocket cost is low. It can be as low as $500. Some of the drawbacks to this is that if you have team members who have existing health conditions or pre-existing conditions, or they have some, not so healthy lifestyle behaviors, then they can be excluded from the plan. But if you've generally got healthy people who really just want that emergency coverage or occasional coverage for an ear infection or something that can go wrong that tends to be not a real chronic condition, then this is a great option. And then third is the flexible spending account, which I know quite a few people are familiar with. Essentially, this is an employer-owned savings account that employees fund. So you set up the relationship with a third-party administrator, and you do pay, again, a platform fee plus a fee for employees per month, but it's not very much. It's $5 to $7 or something like that. And employees can withhold from pay up to $2,750 a year. That's going to be pre-tax. And then it's also anything that's being pulled out of their compensation. You as the employer are going to have a reduction on any FICA and FUTA taxes that aren't included because it was a pre-tax deduction. So if you're combining a QSERA and a flexible spending account, that gives your employees a lot of options towards their healthcare. All right, onto time off. This is the second thing that people ask about. And it's an excellent way to be attractive because it's not a cash flow benefit. You're already paying your employees for their time and for their work. So you're often competing against companies who are not offering any paid time off at all. 16% of companies offer no PTO, and 23% offers 6 to 10 days. The average across the whole country is 11 days, which, having grown up in the UK where you had at least 20 days, it was just horrifying when we moved here and discovered that. But that was 27 years ago, so things haven't changed much in all that time. So if you, again, want to be competitive, offer at least 15 days of paid time off, and you can build in an increase as a retention tool. If employees are still there at 3 years, which in a startup or a young company, they may or may not be, but you can bump that up. So again, you're after tools to retain and keep employees. It's interesting that 78% of Americans don't actually use all their PTO. So even though time is allocated, you may find your team are actually in the office or continuing to work. And for those people who don't use it, set a limit on how much they can carry over from year to year. I always encourage people to build up 5 days, 40 hours on the just in case basis. And so allowing that 40-day carryover is a good idea. All right, time off holidays, at least offer the standard 6. So New Year's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas Day. But you can get some really big wins as an employer by offering the day after Thanksgiving, because who doesn't love a 4-day weekend that you haven't had to use your PTO for? Christmas Day when everybody's running around like a mad chicken. Friday before Memorial Day. So, a few companies begin to do this one. I mean, this is the start of summer where it's not too horrendously hot in places around this country. And so being able to give a 4-day weekend, these are the things that employees love. Or a variable day around July 4th, depending on where it falls. If it falls on a Monday, you can offer the previous Friday, or if it falls on a Tuesday, you offer the Monday, something like that. Last one. And then consider a personal day for birthday. It varies. If you have team members who are like, it's my birthday, I'm the queen or the king, and they want to do something with their birthday, consider a personal day there. Disability insurance. So short-term disability and long-term disability have got a lot more attention this year because of the COVID-19 situation, where people were wiped out for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And I had the situation with my daughter who fell and broke both her wrists. With her company, she had short-term disability, and then she had long-term disability. And that made all the difference to her in terms of having some income coming in. And for a relatively small monthly premium, you can offer this benefit for a set number of days, can be 30, 60, 90 days, with a different percentage income allowance. But again, this has gained much more visibility this year, so that is something that you can add to your package with a relatively low cost to pad this out. There are any number of great companies that you can work with for that. So if you want any referrals or connections with people, I can provide you some. Supplemental insurance. There are companies like Aflac, who everybody recognizes the duck. They did a great job with that marketing. Or Colonial, another company, that offer a wide range of supplemental insurance plans. With these, the employees pay the premium, but they are deducted through payroll. So it's kind of a courtesy service for employees. The Employee Assistance Program, it always surprises me how few companies offer this one, because it's actually a really, really useful tool. Essentially, it's an employer-sponsored program that offers support and resources for struggling employees. So anyone with any kind of emotional, mental health issue, marital, family, substance abuse, if you identify one of your team members, for example, who is inching into, lunchtime drinking, or any kind of behaviors that are against some of the policies that are in your handbook, they're feeling the stress of being stuck at home working with small children around them, or just the isolation of being at home. Having an employee assistance program, it normally offers like 3 to 6 counseling services, and then it can be referred on to something else. But just sometimes having somebody to talk to that's separate from work, but the issue is rolling into and having an impact on work. This can be just as beautiful tool to have available for the people who hopefully are meaningful to you, your employees. It's been shown to have a really high return of investment in terms of supporting your employees. Retirement savings, as we know, it is a rare startup or small company that actually has a 401k plan, but there are other options. I'm going to mention 2 here. The first one is a simple IRA, so savings incentive match plan for small employers. So essentially here, you as the employer contribute up to 3% of the amount that an employee puts into an IRA. Now, that could be a big chunk, especially if you've got employees who are all participating in that. So over the course of 5 years, you can drop that amount to 1%. So if you're in a cash tight situation, you can drop it down. But as long as you are doing that 3% in 3 of those 5 years, this is a way to have a plan that you are contributing something to. And of course, your contributions are tax deductible. The other option with a simple IRA, is you can make a flat 2% contribution for each employee. So you'd have to do some budgeting to work out where your staffing budget is and what this might turn out to look like. With this model, employees do not have to participate, but they can do, of course. And again, your contributions are tax deductible. So another option is the simplified employee pension, or SEP IRA. And many small business owners or have a plan for themselves. If they don't have a 401k plan set up, they will have an individual retirement plan. And there are limits, federal limits on how much you can put in. In 2020, the amount that someone can put into one of these plans is the lowest of 25% of the income, or $57,000, depending on what your compensation is. Any contributions that you make are entirely up to you. You can decide to put a lot in, a small amount in. It can vary from year to year, but any contributions that you make are tax deductible. And so again, it's worth sitting down with your accounting team to say, how much can we afford to put in? What is that doing to our tax liability, and therefore our bottom line on our cash flow? Owners are also considered employees, and so you can actually make your own contributions as well as the contributions that the company is making. You just have to make sure that the same amount is contributed for everybody. So training and education funds, this is another really convenient one. It's not a big cost, isn't this? But who doesn't love to learn? And ideally, you're finding people with your team who are motivated to keep learning and growing and building their skills. So it's nice to be able to offer this. Not all employees will take it up on it. Fund a set dollar amount for each employee per year, and have the caveat that it is related to some study that's directly tied to their work, whether it's learning a new skill or going to a training conference. Well, we don't really have those at the moment, but they'll come back eventually. And even something as small as $250, it can sweeten the deal, and it's something that expands the benefits package. It's one of the things that says you are committed to supporting your employees continuing to learn and grow. Other benefits, other bonus compensations, things that are really easy to do, like an extra day off, gift cards at Christmas, on birthdays, or a day before vacation. No, who isn't? We know they're ramping up to go on vacation, and in an envelope, just a little $50 gift card that says "Have a fantastic time." It's out of the blue, and people appreciate things like that. Incentive bonuses can be things like percentage of revenue during a sales push, shared team percentage of net profit, cash payments for achieving individual goals or team goals. They can always increase over time. They can be used in lieu of a pay increase if someone has gone above and beyond, but it's likely to be just a one-time event. And finally, I think the last thing I'm going to mention is the employee share option plan. A 2000 study showed that companies grow 2.3 to 2.4% faster after setting up an ESOP than would have been expected without it. So it's a plan that allocates funds to purchase shares on behalf of employees. So it's a trust fund that's set aside and is funded. And I mean, there are a few rules around it. And so you would work with someone who manages a plan like this. But the more employees are invested in the success of the company, it's just been shown that they continue to go above and beyond. Employees pay no tax on the contributions until they receive the stock when they leave or retire. So again, it's a way of retaining people because if you build your plan right, the amount that they have got in that plan is growing over time. And it can be structured so that they invest at a certain schedule. Maybe it's a vesting over a period of 2 years, and then any new shares, again, have a different vesting schedule. So it's a tool to support retention. So there are plenty of things you can do without having to push the boat out and spend a ton of money. And of course, health is usually the one that costs a lot. So I showed you some options on that. And then insurance, I'm not quite sure why the car insurance image came up. But anyway, that's everything that I'm going to talk through there. I'm going to finish sharing my screen and then see if there's any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate. So much valuable information that, I mean, honestly, that as a co-working community, we have so many small businesses here, and this is a question that I hear a lot from folks is how can I support, my employees when I don't have a ton of money? So this is just really important information to have. Yeah, so I'm gonna give our viewers just a minute to catch up to us. and send in those questions. But I am interested to know, as you're working with different, companies as an HR consultant, are you seeing any differences in regards to like the age group of workers as to what they're most interested in having as far as benefits?
Yes, I do. An older age group, well, there's actually, in terms of the people who are interested in health benefits, it's those who are who are younger in their 20s and they're coming off their parents' plan and they're kind of wide-eyed and unknowing and looking for solutions at that point. And of course, the marketplace is a solution, and that's why the QSERA, I would fall in love with this plan and marry it if I could. I think it's such a great tool because you can fund it at so many different levels so that a young person can go to the marketplace and get relatively inexpensive coverage, and then draw down money from the QSERA plan to share in part that cost. So it's young people, and then I think it's people who are in their 50s and beyond are really interested in health plans. People, I think the people who are most interested in time off will be, actually no, it's everybody. Everybody's interested in how much time off is being offered in the holidays. So that's kind of across the board. Flexible hours, I think, I didn't list that one, but of course, it's important. That age group where there are a lot of parents, flexible hours is super important. And then an older group is more likely to be interested in, perhaps life insurance or something like that, which I didn't mention, but is an option. Short-term benefits, like I mentioned, has got a lot more visibility, and younger people tend not to think about the need for short-term insurance. The mindset isn't there, but that's changed. That's really changed this year.
For sure. Yeah. We have quite a few questions that have come in, so let's see if we can get through a few of them in our remaining time. So let's see first here. Is there a benefit option you see in other countries that is not caught on in the US? I think you mentioned at the start that difference in amount of PTO days. Are there any other things?
I think it's more a case of there's more.
Mm.
I see in other countries. There's paid family leave in many European countries, for example, which is, I know more about European countries than I do Asian countries. A lot more support for new parents in particular, but any parents taking time off. There's a lot more reimbursement for expenses, I would say. Travel costs, bus and rail transportation reimbursement. If somebody is commuting, I would say that tends to be more likely to see that in larger cities where someone's moving from the suburbs in and out on a daily basis. So, yeah.
Quite a few things.
So I think it's more of everything.
Yes,
yeah.
we have some areas to improve in, for sure. So we have another question here. I work for a nonprofit with less than 10 employees. What would you suggest is the best way to get healthcare support for those employees?
Ooh, so that's where a health share plan could be really helpful. There's something at the back of my head here. I think I'd looked into whether nonprofits can be part of a QSERA plan or not, and I can't remember the answer to it, but I'm happy to look into that. My information is squidged at the bottom of this, or was squidged at the bottom of the slide. You can get my contact information. Feel free to reach out, and I can dig into that. I'm more than happy to research.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll ask one more question that we have here, because we're not going to get through all of them. But then I'll also ask you to just, yeah, share that contact information so folks who are watching can see that. So last question here is, so this is for employees. What's the best way to approach an employer to ask for better benefits?
Make the case. I'm a businesswoman, much as I am a huge supporter of employee success and employee performance and helping people succeed. I'm also a businesswoman, and make the case for the bottom line. Do some research, do some estimates, put some numbers in front of someone so that you make it easy for them to understand what the financial impact is. And again, if anyone is looking to make a case for that, just reach out to me. I'm happy to talk you through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kate. And obviously, if you're an Advent member and you're watching right now, you can find Kate on our member directory and chat through the community board. But Kate, for folks who aren't members or who want to just learn more about your work in other ways, how can they reach out to you?
So the best way is to find me on LinkedIn. I don't have a website. So LinkedIn is where it's at for me. So just Kate Wells MBA is how to track me down on LinkedIn. You can send me a message. My email, which is long and wieldy, is kate.wells@azuritebusinessconsulting.com. And Azurite is AZURITE. Azurite Business Consulting.
Awesome. And this video is going to go up on our YouTube channel, Advent Co-working Videos. And so I'll be sure to include Kate's that email address as well as a link to your LinkedIn page. But thank you again so much. This has been really informative. I'm going to connect you with Eric, who was asking about nonprofits, so that y'all can chat more. But anyone else, definitely reach out to Kate, y'all. She's really great.
Oh, Sam, thank you. It was just so lovely to see you again.
You as well. All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
So right now I have just shared up our talk for next week. So I hope that you will join us next Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. We have Rob, who's going to be speaking about affordable housing 101, excuse me.